all-time history channel presents The Conquests and Legacy of Alexander the Great. Welcome back, history enthusiasts. Today, we're delving into the figure of Alexander the Great, King of Macedonia, and how his influence reshaped the ancient world, leaving a legacy that persists in both historical and cultural contexts. Join us to discover the lesser-known facets, controversies, influence, and legacy of this important figure in history. Alexander the Great, born in the ancient kingdom of Macedonia, rose to become one of history's most renowned conquerors. His empire stretched from the Balkans to modern-day India, reflecting his unparalleled military prowess and strategic acumen. As King of Macedonia, Alexander's influence reshaped the ancient world, leaving a legacy that persists in both historical and cultural contexts. Born in 356 BC in the bustling city of Pella, Alexander was immediately thrust into a royal milieu that prepared him for a life of leadership. As the son of King Philip II, he was exposed to the complexities of governance and warfare from an early age, setting the stage for his future exploits. Alexander's intellectual foundation was solidified under the tutelage of Aristotle, one of Greece's greatest philosophers. Aristotle imbued Alexander with a love of knowledge, science, and philosophy. This education not only refined his tactical thinking, but also influenced his approach to governance and cultural integration throughout his empire. Ascending to the throne at the tender age of 20 after his father's assassination, Alexander quickly demonstrated his readiness to lead. He consolidated power and quelled dissent within Macedonia, securing his position. His rapid rise to power showcased his strategic acumen and his ability to inspire loyalty among his followers. Alexander's military reforms were immediate and impactful. He restructured the Macedonian army, emphasizing flexibility and the use of the phalanx, a formation that became renowned for its effectiveness in battle. These innovations were crucial as they laid the groundwork for the conquests that would soon follow, marking the beginning of his legendary campaign across Asia. Alexander's first major confrontation with the Persian Empire occurred at the Battle of Granicus. He demonstrated his military prowess by decisively defeating the Persian satraps, opening Anatolia to his forces. This victory was crucial, as it established his reputation as a formidable commander early in the campaign. Following this triumph, Alexander laid siege to the island city of Tyre, a strategic coastal base. The siege lasted 7 months, showcasing his strategic patience and ingenuity. By constructing a causeway to reach the heavily fortified island, Alexander's forces eventually breached the city walls, securing a pivotal victory. In Egypt, Alexander was welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule. He founded the city of Alexandria, envisioning it as a hub of commerce and culture. The city's strategic location and design would later help it become one of the ancient world's most important cultural centers. Alexander's journey to the Oracle of Siwa marked a significant personal and political event. After a treacherous trek through the desert, the oracle supposedly confirmed him as the son of Zeus, bolstering his divine status among his followers and justifying his authority and conquests. The culmination of his campaign against the Persian king Darius III occurred at the Battle of Gaugamela. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alejandro's tactical acumen led to a crushing defeat of the Persian forces. This victory not only dethroned Darius III, but also marked the beginning of the end for the Persian Empire. Upon entering Babylon, Alexander was greeted as a liberator rather than a conqueror. The grandeur of the city's famed hanging gardens and its immense wealth greatly impressed him. He swiftly took control of Babylon's vast resources, which he used to fund his ongoing military campaigns and consolidate his power. Next, Alexander captured Susa, another key Persian capital, without significant resistance. The city was renowned for its immense treasures, including the legendary gold and silver amassed by the Persian kings. This wealth further bolstered Alexander's treasury and underscored his dominance over the Persian Empire. The pursuit of Darius III proved more arduous. After a relentless chase across the empire, Darius was ultimately betrayed and killed by his own generals. This event marked the definitive end of the Persian resistance and symbolized the complete overthrow of the Persian monarchy by Alexander. Alexander's method of ruling was marked by his efforts to blend Macedonian and Persian cultures. He adopted Persian dress and customs and appointed Persians to high office, which initially caused discontent among his Macedonian troops. However, this strategy proved effective in stabilizing his new empire by promoting loyalty and cooperation among the conquered peoples. In the Battle of the Persian Gate, Alexander faced stiff resistance in the Winter Mountain Pass. Despite harsh conditions and tough Persian defenders, his strategic acumen led to a crucial victory. This conquest not only demonstrated his military prowess, but also secured his hold over the Persian heartlands, paving the way for his further advances. Alexander's marriage to Roxana symbolized more than a union of two people. It was a strategic alliance meant to solidify his relations with the new territories. Roxana, of Bactrian noble descent, represented a critical bridge between Macedonian and Eastern cultures, helping to stabilize the expanding empire under Alexander's rule. The campaign in Central Asia tested Alexander's military prowess as he faced stiff resistance from local tribes. The rugged terrain and the fierce independence of the people, such as the Sogdians and Bactrians, presented significant challenges. However, Alexander's tactical ingenuity allowed him to subdue these regions, extending his influence further into the unknown. Crossing the Hindu Kush Mountains was a brutal endeavor for Alexander and his army. The harsh conditions, including freezing temperatures and treacherous paths, resulted in considerable hardship. This crossing demonstrated Alexander's determination to reach and conquer every known part of the world, regardless of the physical costs involved. Upon reaching the Jaxartes River, Alexander confronted the Scythians, a nomadic tribe known for their skilled horseback archery. This battle underscored the adaptability of Alexander's forces, who had to modify their combat style to match the hit-and-run tactics of the Scythians, further showcasing Alexander's versatile military strategies. Entering India marked a new chapter in Alexander's conquests, bringing him into contact with entirely different civilizations and military challenges. The lush landscapes hid formidable new adversaries, setting the stage for the legendary Battle of Hydaspes, which would test his conquest capabilities against the mighty King Porus and his war elephants. The Battle of Hydaspes marked one of Alexander's most formidable encounters, where he faced King Porus of India. Despite the challenging monsoons and the mighty war elephants, Alexander's strategic brilliance led to a hard-fought victory, further solidifying his reputation as a military genius and expanding his empire into India. The emotional toll of the campaign manifested dramatically with the death of Bucephalus, Alexander's loyal horse who had been with him through numerous battles. The loss deeply affected Alexander, highlighting the bond he shared with Bucephalus, who was not only a companion, but also a symbol of his conquests. Alexander's troops, worn out by years of campaigning and driven to their limits, reached a breaking point at the Ephesus River. The soldiers, longing for their homeland and weary of battle, mutinied, refusing to march further into India. This marked a crucial turn in Alexandero's conquests, forcing him to contemplate the limits of his ambitions. The return journey proved perilous and arduous, testing the resilience of Alexander's army. They faced harsh conditions, hostile territories, and significant losses. This phase was not just a physical challenge, but also a mental ordeal, as Alexander grappled with maintaining the morale and loyalty of his increasingly discontented forces. Back in his vast empire, Alexander faced numerous governance challenges, from administrative reforms to controlling vast, culturally diverse regions. His approach combined diplomacy and strategic marriages, aiming to integrate rather than dominate, which helped stabilize and manage the sprawling territories under his influence. The death of Callisthenes, Alejandro's historian and advisor, marked a significant turning point in his reign. Accused of conspiracy, Callisthenes' execution led to a sharp decline in morale among the Greeks in Alexander's army, who saw him as a symbol of their culture and intellect within a foreign-dominated empire. To strengthen the unity of his vast empire, Alexander orchestrated the Susa weddings, a mass marriage ceremony where Macedonian officers married Persian noblewomen. This bold social experiment aimed to merge the diverse cultures of his empire, promoting peace and loyalty among the conquered territories. Alexander's final days were spent in Babylon, where his health began to rapidly deteriorate. Amidst the busy administrative duties and planning further campaigns, he developed a fever that eventually led to his demise. His sudden death in 323 BC left his empire in a state of shock and uncertainty. Following his death, Alexander's empire did not long survive as a unified entity. The lack of a clear successor led to the Wars of the Diadochi, where his generals divided the empire into competing kingdoms. This fragmentation marked the end of his direct rule, but laid the groundwork for the Hellenistic period. Alexander's legacy as a cultural architect is undeniable. He spread Hellenistic culture across 3 continents, profoundly influencing the architectural styles, languages, and customs of many regions. His campaigns led to the establishment of numerous cities, blending Greek and local elements, which became centers of learning and culture for centuries. This era, known as the Hellenistic period, saw the fusion of Eastern and Western cultures, which influenced everything from architecture to philosophy, paving the way for advancements in various fields. Alexander's architectural legacy is evident in the numerous cities he founded, most notably Alexandria in Egypt. These cities served not only as administrative centers, but also as bastions of Greek culture and military power. Their strategic locations and fortified designs influenced urban planning and military architecture in the subsequent centuries. Economic integration was another aspect of Alexander's rule. By establishing a common currency and fostering trade routes across his empire, he enhanced economic interactions between a diverse range of cultures and regions. This integration helped in the spread of goods, ideas, and cultural practices across vast distances. The final resting place of Alexander the Great remains one of history's great mysteries. Despite extensive searches and historical accounts, the exact location of his tomb continues to elude archaeologists and historians. This enduring mystery only adds to the legendary status of Alejandro, keeping the intrigue about his life and death alive in the modern imagination. The Great's legacy is viewed through a complex lens, with opinions divided on whether he was a hero or a villain. His conquests brought about significant cultural and economic changes, yet they were also marked by brutality and the suppression of local traditions. This duality leaves his figure contested in historical narratives. Scholars continue to debate Alexandro's achievements and failures, analysing the long-term impacts of his reign. While some praise his role in spreading Greek culture and enhancing trade, others criticise his methods and the instability that followed his death. These debates enrich our understanding of his complex persona and imperial strategies. The Great's influence extends beyond history into art and literature, where he is often depicted as a quintessential hero. His life and exploits have inspired countless works, portraying him as a figure of high drama and epic scale. This artistic fascination reflects his enduring appeal as a subject of study and admiration. The modern fascination with Alexander the Great remains strong, evidenced by his frequent appearances in movies, documentaries, and books. These portrayals contribute to the public's perception of him, often romanticizing his adventures while downplaying the darker aspects of his campaigns. This ongoing interest underscores his significance in popular culture. In conclusion, Alexander the Great stands as a monumental figure in history and culture. His ambitious nature and remarkable military accomplishments have cemented his status as one of history's great leaders, though his legacy is nuanced by the diverse and often conflicting interpretations of his life and impact. If you enjoyed this exploration of Alexander the Great, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Your subscription fuels our journey through history, and together we'll unravel its mysteries one video at a time. Don't forget to check out our playlists and recommended videos for more fascinating historical tales. From ancient mysteries to modern conundrums, our channel is your gateway to the past.